I love Chappell Roan. She's campy, she's queer, she's outspoken, she's maximal, she's fun, and frankly, she's hot as hell. And let's be honest, she's the only pop star that makes me feel seen as a former horse girl with repressed homosexuality. So today I'm going to be taking a page out of Makara Tour's book and try to recreate one of my favorite pop stars' looks on a budget. Chappell is dropping a new single soon, which she debuted on SNL, but it kind of got pulled from the internet for a little bit. It's called The Giver, also known as She Gets the Job Done. And I was obsessed with all of the outfits she wore that night, especially the Wiederhoft one, which was just Bride of Frankenstein meets camp with a corset. Like they know how to make corseted gowns, which of course I love. But I really loved her Giver outfit, which was like Dolly Parton went to Jumbo's clown room, and it was just so much fun, and the song has been stuck in my head for days. So today we are going to make Chappell Roan's SNL Giver look. So let's break this costume down. Her outfit was probably made out of leather based on like the amount of structure to it, the construction technique. It looks like it was painted after the fact, but I don't have a leather budget, so I'm going to try to do this in some spandex fabric, and that will be under 30 bucks, which is perfect. Now, to make sure I really understood this character, I decided to go to the original Pony Club to do some research. Okay, maybe it's the medieval Pony Club, but it was still a lot of fun, and in fact, the jouster for our team kind of looked like my fiance, so we called him Timu Mr. Blackwell. But that was enough horsing around for one night. All right, we are here at the Fashion District, and I have so much shopping to do. Oh, bubbly water. I'll need some pink gingham, some blue, and some solid pink. Let's go shopping. Now, I'm pretty sure her outfit was made out of some sort of leather that was then painted to have the gingham effect. However, I don't have a leather budget, so I went to my trusty friend Shervin at Chevalier Fabrics, and without fail, he had exactly what I was looking for, and in fact, it was actually custom printed. This ended up being a much darker pink than I was hoping for. Hers is much more pastel, and this is kind of more bubblegum, which means I couldn't find a pink to match for the waistband, but I decided to just use the powder blue stretch instead. Now, the reason I'm going with stretch is because I think I actually want to wear this as a swimsuit later. I think it's a really cute design, and you can't exactly take leather and water, so we'll kill two birds with one stone. Not actually, because this is a bird-friendly house, but anyways. Then I stole a pair of high-waisted panties from my bedroom, and I guess it's not stealing if I stole it from myself. Well, anyways, I took a pair of panties and I copied the pattern and turned it into a pair of high-waisted shorts. As for the top, I draped that off camera on my mannequin, and then I just cut out the pieces and transferred it to pattern paper, which you see here, and added my seam allowance. So then I did my little snippety, and I was a little bit naughty because I didn't use pins because I was trying to move fast. But once I got everything cut out, I then cut everything else out again in a bit of stretch denim. Stretch denim isn't the most ideal for bathing suits. However, I really loved the firmness and structure that her outfit had, and I wanted to replicate that, especially since it's a panty. I don't need anybody seeing any, lips or lines or anything. Then I spent what felt like probably an hour or more cutting out this scalloped trim from the spandex, which was a lot harder than I thought it was going to be because the spandex kind of just moves away from you. It's like, no, I don't want to be cut. So then I cut the panty pattern into 3 pieces so that I could have the seams on the center front of the panty in which I placed the scallops. Then I lined the front with the stretch denim fabric and turned everything right side out, leaving the waistband and the crotch unsewn, and it came out so cute. Then I did the same process again to the back and attached everything at the crotch. So this outfit is definitely a bit out of my comfort zone. In what way? Because very horse girl. I grew up riding gymkhana, but I was not good at it. Gymkhana is timed events on horseback, and I didn't have a horse. I worked for a horse. I borrowed one. I got to work on my friend's ranch and borrow her dad's horse to ride. But I grew up riding motorcycles, so when I would get on gymkhana, I didn't really learn how to sit and ride with the horse, kind of meow meow meow. I learned on motorcycles that when you start going fast, you stand up and kind of squat a little bit so that your knees take the brunt of the bumps and the whatever. So as I was doing gymkhana, I would stand up in the saddle, and everyone made fun of me and called me motorcycle girl, which now is kind of a cool name, but they're like, oh, she doesn't know how to ride. And so I wasn't cool. I wasn't accepted. And of course, in gymkhana, you have these fancy outfits that are bedazzled and everything. And I think I still have one somewhere. There's always something. So yeah, everybody had these cool bridles and these cool saddles and the shirts and the hats and the belts and the boots. And I had old motorcycle boots to ride in and just whatever like jeans and a t-shirt I could find. And I had one nice shirt that her mom had made me for like a breast cancer thing. I always like recoil a little bit at being a horse girl because there's such a stigma against being a horse girl, like, a horse girl. So I'm like, don't look at me. I was kind of a horse girl for a bit, but not actually because I didn't own the horse.
More like a horse tramp.
Horse tramp? I put the whore in horse. And because the sides lace up, we got to do my favorite thing, which was putting in grommets. However, because it's all stretch fabric, I was worried about punching a hole for the grommets and having the fabric stretch away from the grommet and just rip out entirely. So instead I used an awl to make a hole that I then fished the grommet through, and that way I didn't have to break any fibers or anything. Now, because I was trying to save a little bit of money, because this was already racking up, I decided to just cut ribbons for the side ties out of the same blue spandex, and that way all of the fabric matched. And it was kind of nice because it gave a little more ease of movement in the shorts. No, you can't watch me try it on. And it looks so cute. Booty shake for the win. Then I cut a waistband for the shorts and left about a 1-inch gap on each side of the lacing. So I just made a little tube and created basically a bias tape channel from the spandex fabric that I then put a wide piece of elastic in. Funny enough, I was so meek back then that I would apologize for apologizing, and I was apologizing for everything. But the girl who owned the horses, she was only 13 now that I think about it. In my head, she was so much older, even though we were the same age, but like the way she could just like wrangle the horses and just like, oh, you're gonna go this way, and like just insane that she could lift bales of hay and stuff. I was like, you're only 13. She was like my best friend and also my bully, and it was so weird. Yeah, just like somebody who traumatized you but also like taught you a lot. It was very strange. We would ride double bareback on the quarter horse in the corral, but I'd be sitting behind her, and while she's steering the horse by the mane, she'd reach behind her, grab me by my thigh, and flip me off the horse and be like, all right, bitch, you either squeeze tight and stay on, or you're gonna fall face first into the horse dung. And she did that multiple times until I learned to hold on for dear fucking life. That girl was crazy. And I feel like she was a little bit of my queer awakening too.
You're like the girl who's gonna toss you around.
Now, I gave myself a little break from the more complicated top because I knew that was going to take a little bit, and I decided to pattern out her bracers. And so to do that, I just took my wrist and forearm circumferences, made a little pattern, and then refined the little pointed shape on the top and the bottom. And then again, I cut that out of my spandex and my stretch denim, sewed them right sides together, and then flipped it right side out through a little hole, and then top stitched it down. Now she had this fringe on her gauntlets, and again, I did not want to buy more material. So instead I just cut out some rectangles that I then cut into little fringe, and it worked really nicely. I just top stitched that on top of the gauntlets next to where the grommets would be, added some grommets, and I had cute, easy little wristband bracer things. I decided to tackle the top the next day when Rachel was coming over so that she could keep me sane and maybe give me a drink if it got too stressful, which it did, because I was not thinking straight. There were so many pieces and so many right sides and wrong sides and layers and order of operations. So always label your pieces and save yourself a little bit of a headache. What you doing over there? This is my lasso. It's super effective.
Magic Heart uses splash. That's not very effective.
Now this thing was a puzzle to put together. I started with the sailor collar, which was fairly easy enough. I just had to apply the scallops to the edge and then put the right sides together, stitch it along the edge, and then turn it right side out. But once I started attaching the rest of the shirt to the collar, it got so complicated so fast. Oh, fuck! I was sewing all of this with no bobbin. Ah! Where'd that go? Goo goo gaga. Ra 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 ah ah.
You know what it also reminds me of?
What?
The Buzz Lightyear when he's like, I'm Mrs. Nesbit.
Hi, Mrs. Nesbit. Well, I forget the voice he does, but yeah, it does look very Mrs. Nesbit. Yeah, I cut the wrong piece.
What happened?
I was a dingus and I cut 2 left boobies instead of a left and a right boobie.
Okay, cut out your new boobs.
Do you know why they're out of a picnic print?
Why?
Because my boobies are a snack. Not a full meal.
Yeah, I was
Full meal would be here. Mine are like a snack, you know,
Yeah.
a little.
size.
They're fun size. They're Skittles because they taste the rainbow.
Oh, nice.
My boobies are a Twix. Do you choose the left factory or the right factory? So I sewed this boobie on wrong. Okay, I think it's break time.
Time for a break.
I am no longer hangry, and I have fixed my mistake. It turns out I was not wrong in the beginning. I had just sewn the wrong pieces to the wrong side, so I did not need to cut another, but oh well. But for my next magic trick, I will turn this into a vest. Let's see here.
Nesbit's feel like sexy little people.
It is giving sexy Bo Peep. Oh my gosh. And there we have the boobies. I'm sure it looks pretty ridiculous right now because it needs a lot of top stitching. Got it all sewed up, and I did not sew the sides together so that we could add her lacing. So I put grommets there. This time I did punch the holes, but that's because I knew there wasn't going to be as much tension across the bust as there would be along the waist. And so here you can see me lacing it all up. It came out really, really cute. Now, because I cut the spandex scallops on the straight, and yet I was applying them to a curve, it was causing them to kind of flip out every direction, but I had a feeling that the weight of the rhinestones that I was going to add later would cause them to lay back down straight. However, I did have to do a couple tacking stitches here and there to get them to lay in the proper places along the bust line. Then I took a break, and by break I mean just changed direction of work, and decided to style the wig. All right, we got this beautiful wig, which unfortunately, even though I love the curls, we have to style it. I love using these Velcro rollers, but they were sticking so hard. Luckily, her wig was very voluminous and very poofy, so ripping these babies out after I steamed them did not do any damage. Luckily, this wig wasn't too hard to style. It was mostly just setting the right kind of curl, fluffing everything out, giving it a really good tease at the base and a little bit through the mid shaft, and then going in with some scissors and kind of refining it into a like long bob sort of shape. And then the bangs weren't honestly too dissimilar from an aerial bang. It just took a while to kind of coax the hair into the right curl pattern. And then I just sprayed it down really well with some like freeze spray. She's getting there. Getting that swoop was kind of hard. And it's not totally perfect and smooth and glossy like hers, but I think once I get the white streak put in, it'll kind of hide what's not smooth yet. I did the thing that I swore to my younger self I would never do again, and I bought cowboy boots. I'm sure Chappell has custom cowboy boots, and I did not want to paint these again because I'm going to use them for another project. So instead I made boot covers, but I was getting right down to the wire of my fabric. So even though I tried to be good and make a pattern so that I could use my fabric properly and do everything the right way, there just wasn't time and there wasn't enough yardage. So I ended up having to just stretch the fabric over the boot to kind of eke out a little bit more yardage. But it worked out for the better, honestly. The only trouble was the top edge where I tried to add the scallops, but I just didn't have enough of the pink to be able to attach things properly with sewing. So I hot glued it. I am very ashamed to say, because I pride myself on doing things the right way where I can, but I just I couldn't do it that time. Now, I was going to just leave it there. However, Rachel had a good point that it did not look completely finished without the rhinestones. So I ended up staying up till like 3 a.m. the night before we were going to shoot, rhinestoning everything. But this is like weirdly calming, except for the fact that my E6000 was a little bit hard, so my thumb really hurt trying to squeeze that out. But, you know, she gets the job done. Now, I was really winging it when it came to this makeup. I have not done any sort of effects makeup or drag makeup in a long time, and so my brow blocking could have been a bit better, but I think the makeup came out really well, and I really love Chappell's ideology around the whole clown makeup thing. Somebody once told her that they thought gays were like clowns, and she said, "Alright bitch, I'm going to be the best damn clown you have ever seen." And I just love that mentality, because as somebody who is felt unwelcomed and too much in many spaces, I love that she is being unabashedly much, unabashedly outspoken, unabashedly campy, and that is just an energy that I wish to embody. And I love how outwardly gay she is. Like, I was teased for being gay before even knowing what gay was. I mean, I should have known. I was watching Girls Gone Wild every night after my dad would leave for work. So like, I should have known, and we're not going to discuss the problematic nature of Girls Gone Wild. And I love how she's just like, yeah bitch, this is who I am, this is my art, I'm going to turn my life into art. And I admire that so much, and I hope to channel more of Chappell in my life. All right, makeup is done. We're gonna go find Chapel Roan's new billboard that was just put up here in downtown LA. I'm really excited. It is such perfect timing. So let's get into costume and go search for it. Yay! Coke. More like joke. Baby boy, your ads are way too long. Way too long. Watch like the moment we decide, okay, we're done and we get in the car. Yeah, then it'll come. Just pretend we saw it. I waited honestly a long time to see her billboard, but it never came up, so I'm not sure what happened there. But Rachel had the best idea to kind of lift our spirits and fill our tummies, and that was to go to Hamburger Mary's in West Hollywood, which is an absolutely iconic hamburger joint and drag show space. And to be perfectly honest, I was feeling a little nervous about going fully dressed in drag, but the moment we got there, the drag queens like pulled me over and were just so sweet and complimentary and made me feel so welcomed. They put us right up front and we had like the best seat in the house. And there was Miss Dani Kay, who was absolutely gorgeous, Sparkle Stone, who had the most amazing outfits, Allusia, who had, oh my gosh, the best eyes, just the way she worked her eyes, girl, and Miss Luna, who was just so freaking funny. I am really thankful to have had such a wonderful experience with them. And so the last place we decided to go to was Jumbo's Clown Room. Gonna go steal some public property. Okay, so we did not see the big ad, but as we were driving over to Jumbo's, I saw a little paper ad of the dentist one. So we're gonna go take a photo with it and take a little tab from it. Did you steal something? Maybe just a little. I'm a bad girl who needs to be punished. What's more queer and camp than Jumbo's Clown Room? I literally called it. Okay, but as of last night, Chappell Roan literally went to Jumbo's. Oh my god, we're like the same person. We're on the same wavelength. Like we get each other. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you have made it this far, let me know down below, what is your favorite Chappell Roan look? Don't forget to hit that subscribe button wherever it may be. Pick yourself up a corset necklace or a printed home sewing pattern. And remember, dental dams are not just for dentists. Bye.